Okay, I'm gonna walk you through how to do the rectangular prism example on the course manual. I'm gonna send other videos for the other practice problems, but I'm just gonna do this trial one to see if this is like a learning method that works for you. So this is, again, functions and models, and then it's the final example here on the back. And it tells us that an open rectangular box with volume of 2 meters cubed has a square base. Express the surface area as a function of the length of the side of the base, which is a fancy way of saying rewrite volume into terms of surface area. So we're always going to start with what we know about this question. All right. So for me, I'm a visual learner, so I'm just going to draw out. So we're told we have a rectangular prism. All right. I'll just draw out a rectangular prism. And we're told it's an open rectangular box with a volume of 2 meters cubed, and it has a square base. Okay, so we know that volume is equal to length times width times height. So there's 3 dimensions because volume is about filling the space of an object. So this is 3D, space filling. All right, and we're also told that volume 2 is equal to length times width times height. And I'm actually going to rewrite that equation in terms of x and y because it's going to be easier for us to deal with later on. We're creating the surface area equation. So we're also told that this rectangular prism or box has a square base, which tells us that our length is equivalent to our width. So we're just going to label that as x and x, but our height is going to be y because that's going to be different because rectangles have longer heights than they do have bases. Okay, so we know that this right here is going to be y. So we can rewrite our equation in terms of x and y now. So 2 is equal to x length times width, which is also x because it's a square base, times our height, which is y. Simplify that. So x times x, remember that exponential rules, we just add this together, is equal to x squared times y. So 2 is equal to x squared times y. So now we're going to forget about this and move on to surface area. All right. And surface area is 2-dimensional. So it's going to be us multiplying 2 things. So we know that the area of our base is going to be x times x because we have 1 square base, again, x times x, and we're told it's an open top, so we don't multiply it by 2. But if we had a closed rectangular prism, we would multiply our base times 2, so it'd be x squared times 2. But since it's an open box, we're not going to consider the top here, it's just the bottom, which is x times x, which is one face of our rectangular prism. But a rectangular prism has many sides to it. So it also has a front rectangle, a back, and a side to side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're just going to add, again, x times y. You can kind of envision the front face, the back face, the side, and the 2 sides. So we have that 4 times. So it's going to be 4xy. So now our equation for surface area is equal to, again, x times x for that base, and we also have 4 faces. And again, we're multiplying 2 things because area is 2-dimensional. So it's going to be x squared plus 4xy. The question is asking us, express the surface area as a function of the length of the side of a base, which pretty much means we're going to use this equation for volume and plug that into our equation for surface area so that we have it in terms of one variable. And for me, I see that x squared is kind of complicated, so I'm going to choose a simpler of the 2, which is y. So divided by x squared, y is equal to 2 over x squared, right? So now we've created the volume in terms of just one variable. So y is equal to 2 over x squared. We can plug that value into every instance of y in our surface area equation. So our surface area is now, if you can can see that. Surface area is equal to x squared plus 4x, and then we're plugging it in for y, that value of the volume, which is 4x times 2 over x squared. So I'm gonna move this over here because I want it to be more visible for you. So surface area is equal to x squared plus, again, the 4x over 1, you can write that because we're doing fractions, so it's going to be easier to envision, 2 over x squared. So 4 times 2 is 8x, then 1 times x squared is x squared. Just move this down. Surface area. All right, 8x divided by x squared, we're just going to keep that 8 as is. And remember our exponential rules. So x divided by x squared is the same thing as saying x to the 1 minus x squared. So 1 minus 2 is equal to x and negative 1. Whenever we have a negative exponent, we create a fraction, so it's going to be 1 over x, and we make that exponent positive. So now we're left with our simplified version, or just c, or you could rewrite it as 8x over x times x. Cancel that out, you're left with 8 over x, and this is x squared. Just move that back down again. Our surface area is equal to x squared plus 8 over x. So we've successfully expressed the surface area as a function of the length of the side of the base, which again is just simply saying express the area using the equation of the volume. So always look at what you're given, and from that extract, in this case, an equation.